A refugee is a person forced to leave their country due to natural disasters or war and conflict, with well-founded fear of being persecuted for reasons of race or religion or political opinion. Refugees are outside of the country of their nationality without the protection of their country. There are 82.4 million displaced people throughout the world. Of those, 26.4 million are refugees forced to leave their country, and 48 million are internally displaced.
Ruth is a young woman from Eritrea. When she was 14, she had to choose between getting married, where her husband would be much older than her, or joining the military. She decided to leave Eritrea and walked to Ethiopia, through Sudan, then to Libya. Many of the refugees she was traveling with died in the desert. When Ruth was traveling through Sudan, she was put on a bus with 250 other refugees. They could not leave the bus for 3 weeks. When Ruth arrived at the Libyan coast, she was afraid of the sea because she had never seen it before. Then she was put on a boat with 500 other refugees and sailed across the Mediterranean Sea into Italy. In Italy, Ruth was homeless and slept outside in the street. She traveled to France on a train where she hoped to go to England. She kept trying to jump onto a truck to get to England, but the police caught her. Finally, Ruth snuck on and hid in a box. When she arrived in England, she was questioned by the police before being taken into a foster family. Ruth's new life is hard because she does not know English, but she is happy and misses her family and hopes to become a nurse one day.
When Ruth was 18, she escaped from Germany to Cuba in 1939 because she was a Jew. Ruth and her family sailed to Cuba on the SS St. Louis. When they got to Cuba, they were denied entry. Only 29 Jews were allowed off. After that, the SS St. Louis sailed to Florida, where they were denied again. They tried to go to Halifax, but Canada did not want them. Their captain did not want to take them back to Germany, so they relocated in Belgium, France, and the United Kingdom. Of the 936 passengers, 254 died in the Holocaust. Ruth and her family went to Belgium, where her and her sister made gloves for the military. They later moved to the United Kingdom, where Ruth survived World War II.
During the Vietnam War and when it ended in 1975, Linh Vu was a little girl. When the war ended, Linh's parents knew that they were not safe, and after many failed attempts to flee Vietnam, they ran out of money. When another opportunity to leave presented itself, the family only had enough money for 2 tickets, one for her father and one for Linh. She and her father, along with other Vietnamese people who wanted to escape, had to hide among reeds in the water before getting onto the boat that would take them to safety. 50 people crammed onto a small boat, and they drifted out on the ocean for days before they were rescued by a huge British ship. The English sailors took the Vietnamese people to Singapore, and from there Linh and her father flew to England, where they stayed at a military camp. After Linh and her father moved out of the camp, they spent a few years getting settled before the rest of their family arrived in England.
In the book Inside Out and Back Again, Ha, her mother, and 3 brothers escape Vietnam in the hull of a crowded ship. Even though the book is fictional, it is based off the author's own story, which takes place in 1975. Then Ha witnessed the end of the Vietnam War at age 10. Her father was missing in action, and she and her family fled to Alabama. Then Ha says that she remembers the good and the bad of her childhood, like sweet papaya and explosions outside. She had to learn English when she was in America and struggled to communicate with other people. She felt dumb even though she knew she was smart. Than Ha is now a writer of children's literature. She won a National Book Award for Young People's Literature, as well as a John Newbery Medal.
Ahmed is 12 years old. He is a Syrian refugee who used to live in Damascus.
He had to flee from his town after it was bombed, and then he walked down to the coast and fled in a 4-person boat with 12 other people. Ahmed and the 12 other refugees floated in the sea for 10 days before being rescued and taken to Europe. Syria is in its 11th year of crisis because of war and conflict. 2.3 million refugees from Syria are children. Canada has responded by opening its doors to refugees. Canada welcomed 44,620 Syrian refugees between November 2015 and October 2020. Even though this is a small amount compared to all the refugees around the world, we have to start somewhere, and every person counts.